Hey, hey, habit thrivers. If you're ready to rock your next chapter, this is your place. It's time to live your most fit, fearless, and fabulous life. I believe that our daily habits and routines set the foundation for achieving our dream lives and help us find more passion and clarity with less doubt and uncertainty. So let's get cozy. Grab your planner and your favorite beverage and come along with me on this journey of reclaiming your passions and finding new ones along the way. Welcome to the Habit Thrive podcast, a podcast for women in their me now years. Hi, I'm Laura, your host, and each week we come together to create habits, routines, and rituals to regain our power and our awesomeness to live our best chapters yet. Today, I want to talk to you about something we all seem to chase, especially actually during the holidays: balance. It's the holy grail of self-help advice. Even I have spoken to it once or twice. It's the thing that we're told to strive for in our work, our relationships, and yes, even with our holiday traditions. But here's a question for you. What if the search for balance is setting us up for disappointment? What if, instead of trying to juggle everything perfectly, we gave ourselves permission to let go of the idea of balance entirely? And actually, this time of year is a perfect time to practice this. So today, I'm inviting you to rethink what it means to have it all together during the holiday season and beyond, actually. Instead of balance, let's talk about shifting focus, embracing seasons of life, and making space for what really matters right here, right now. So why is balance the holy grail, when in fact, I think it's a myth? Let's start with the truth that actually might be kind of hard to hear, and that is balance doesn't actually exist. I have never found it. I'm going to tell you that. Or at least not in the perfect kind of social media way we imagine balance. Think about the image of a scale, and this is super easy for me because I'm a Libra. And I think that partly because I am a Libra, I have this innate sense that I need to be balanced. But in terms of a scale, balance means everything is equal, perfectly distributed, never tipping too far in one direction. But life doesn't work like that. Life's dynamic, it's messy, it's constantly shifting. Balance implies this static state, and we are anything but static beings. Nowhere is this more true than during the holidays. There are gifts to buy. And yes, you're listening to this at the time that we are into this final week, for me at least, buying gifts. And yes, I have a couple more gifts to buy. I do, in fact, perhaps have a couple of meals to cook as well. Now, there are traditions to uphold. I'm kind of shifting and playing with that a little bit as well. And there are still events to attend. So add to that the emotional weight of the season. This kind of up and down feeling right now. I think sometimes this hits when we get, let's say, closer to Christmas Day, for example. And we've been going like mad. We've got adrenaline going. And then all of a sudden, so for some of you, you're totally organized and you're kind of sitting down and just taking a break for a moment. Others, like myself, now again, I have never claimed from a habit perspective that my house and actually my life is totally organized. But from a habit perspective, in terms of self-care, absolutely. So that's actually my shifting. I will shift to go to bed earlier and let go of household tasks that need to be done. So particularly this time of year. So I'm going to circle back to my initial thought here, which was right here, right now, into this week, we can be feeling so many emotions. We can feel relief because we feel organized. We can feel unorganized. We can feel a sense of peace and contentment. We can feel melancholy. Sometimes, again, we can feel more than one of those feelings at the same time. And they arise because of everything from family dynamics to, again, how organized we feel, how things might be different this year or the same, and certainly grief coming into the mix for many of you listening. And so it's a roller coaster ride in this last week. So this feeling of balance, again, it's just something not to strive for. So instead, let's strive for some flow. Flow is about recognizing that life has seasons, and within those seasons, our priorities naturally shift. Think about the natural world, right? Look out your window right now. Depending on where you are, where I am right now, winter is balancing. It's trying to balance within itself. And it is also a balance with spring and summer. Winter is a season with its own rhythm and purpose, and the same can be true for all of us. During the holiday season, flow might mean letting go of some of your usual routines in favor of traditions that matter most and matter more this time of year. It might mean saying no to certain invitations so you can say yes to quiet nights with yourself or your family, or even just some much needed alone time. And again, I'm speaking particularly to the flow and the feeling of this week. Flow allows us to adapt. It gives us permission to focus on what feels most important right here, right now, rather than trying to do everything perfectly. And so here's another question. What matters most to you in the holiday season, right now, again, right here in this week? Not what matters to your family or your coworkers or even the people you follow online. But what matters to you? Is it spending more time with your kids, reconnecting with old friends, or simply slowing down and savoring the magic of the season? Whatever it is, let that be your focus. Because in this mix of all of these things going on in this last week, sometimes again, we don't feel like we have choice, but we do have choice and we can exercise that choice. So when we shift our mindset from balance to intentional focus, we're not abandoning other responsibilities. We're simply accepting that they don't need right now every single thing that we do. It doesn't all need equal attention, and that's okay. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't just apply to the holiday season, to this week. Life is a series of shifting seasons, each with its own priorities and demands. And again, for those of you who have followed me on my podcast, or even if this is your first podcast episode, this is why I love Ayurveda. The connection between ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and what's going on around us. So what Ayurveda also teaches us is that when we stop striving for balance and start embracing the natural ebb and flow of life, we open ourselves up to a more authentic way of living. We make space. I love that. I love space. We make space for what truly matters, whether it is for, again, some of us still balancing work life and home life and relationships and our health, our own personal growth. It's all in the mix. So as you move through this holiday season, as you move through this week, I'd like to leave you with this thought. Balance is overrated. Life isn't about holding everything perfectly in place. It's about knowing when to lean into one area, when to lean in, and when to let another area go. Give yourself the gift of focus this season, this week, this year. Embrace the flow of your season. And above all, make space for what really matters to you. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you so much for listening, for being here in 2024. for sharing your thoughts with me, for sharing your interview ideas with me, and truly just for sharing your time with me. I wish you and your family and your furry friends lots of love this holiday season, and I look forward to chatting with you again, actually, next week, just before the new year. So big hugs, enjoy. Don't forget to take a few of those nice soft inhalations and nice long exhalations, and have a fabulous week. Bye for now.
If you love this episode, I guarantee you're going to love exploring all the amazing opportunities that await us in reclaiming our awesomeness together. So come on over to my Facebook group, Women's Wellness Community for women wanting to rock their Me Now years, or let's connect over on Instagram at Habit Guru 365 and make the Habit Guru podcast your healthy new habit.